Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! It's me! It's that good old Nicky V, kicking it again with that M to the A to the double T from that squared circle on the IG. Here we go. And this week, we're talking about the WWE Hall of Fame, which actually isn't an actual hall. And we're going to talk about that too. So how you doing today, Matt? Matt's over from the Squared Circle at over on Twitter and Instagram. It's at the Squared Circle or at T Squared Circle. And our little segment that we're doing here leading up to WrestleMania is called In This Very Squared Circle. And obviously a little portmanteau of Vince's favorite phrase and Matt's Twitter handle. And obviously we representing Scoreboard Addicts, and this is a Belly Up podcast. But Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Nick, how are you doing tonight?
As good as the heavyweight champion of the world can do.
Champ is here. That needs to be, I feel like, the new banner for the Scoreboard Addicts Twitter page, because that's, for those who can't see it live, first of all, you should be watching live.
Yeah.
And if you're not already, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button, give us a like, drop a follow, and add some comments as well. We would love to hear back from the millions
and millions.
That's you guys. So just make sure that you do what you got to do to stay in the loop, and then you can see more of those beautiful championships that Nick has.
But obviously, we're here to talk about the WWE Hall of Fame. It's a big tie-in with WrestleMania. The night before WrestleMania, they do the induction, and then they bring out the Hall of Famers once again at the WrestleMania event. This year's a big one. Undertaker's going in. And along with the Undertaker, we're hearing Big Van Vader's going in.
Yes.
Overdue. Long overdue.
I agree. Long overdue. And it's unfortunate that WWE chooses to acknowledge these guys when they're no longer here, because after all of the sacrifices that they made in their lives to their body, their families and whatnot, I feel like they deserve that little 15 minutes that they give them to say thank you. And for people who don't know about their history, for them to find out, hey, like, oh, I know who Undertaker is, but who's Vader? You know, it would have been nice just for, if he was still here, to be able to say thank you for everything.
Absolutely. I was actually just thinking about that yesterday. I just finished Shawn Michaels' biography, and it dawned on me that there are very few wrestlers that get to retire. Like, very many of them are unceremoniously just dropped from the script, and they don't even tell you that they're leaving. You know, like I'm watching 2000s Attitude Era stuff going on, and Davey Boy Smith just disappears. Jeff Jarrett just disappears. There's no word of they lose their belts, they lose whatever they were doing. Their last match they probably lost. The next night they're gone, and you never hear about it again. And in the case of Davey Boy Smith, he just died. Like he left WWE. I want to say, I think maybe he went to WCW again for like 20 minutes. And then he died, and you never heard from him again. But he never got that last round of applause, like you said, that last pop in the stadium for the fans to show their appreciation of him. And there's a lot of wrestlers that are like that, and not just people like the British Bulldog or Jeff Jarrett, but I mean many wrestlers. Their career ends abruptly, and it's not part of the story. I can only really think of 3 wrestlers that had storylines where it involved their or four wrestlers where it actually involved their actual retirement. And that's what Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, The Undertaker, and Mick Foley.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I think for all of them, I mean, Sean came back, but like we don't talk about that Saudi match because like that was a one-off. But like Foley had that outstanding Hell in a Cell match with Triple H with his career on the line, and he's back a month later for WrestleMania, which is it's great, and I'm not trying to be one of those marks like, oh, it doesn't make sense, the story, but like it's almost like real in a way to where he even said he thought he was done. You know, like he thought that was his last match. Then he comes back, and then he comes back again, and he comes back again and again. And it's like Sean even said in his retirement speech that this is like real. This is like he's not coming back. Out of respect for The Undertaker, which is what even like you don't think about, because even it's more than just one person involved. Yeah, it's your career, but someone else is also dedicating their time of their craft for you to get that send off. And that bullshit with Flair, how that whole big ordeal, everybody was coming out, then and cameras shut off, Taker comes out, Vince comes out. And then, like, not even a year later, he's in TNA wrestling, like, with Hulk Hogan, no less. So it's almost like the retirement matches aren't real. And
in Sean's book, he addresses that. And Vince even told him, like, oh, we could do this retirement match, and you can just come back 6 months later. No big deal. And Sean was like, no, I'm done. Yeah. He goes, aside from a few appearances I make here and there, I may have wrestled one time because they really needed something, but I am not a regular. I'm not going to be a regular, and I'm done. I'm just done with it. He goes, I got things to do at home with my kids. I guess his kids got too old because he went back to work.
Yeah, right.
But that was good though. Sean really did kind of just turn it off. He just got his farewell, goodbye, and took off. And that was real. That was the real storyline. Like, I'm done, because he was done the year before.
Yeah, he was barely around.
He was done the year before, and he kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna. He was really contemplating it, and then he goes, I'll stick around for one more year, and then next year, that's it. And he did. He stuck to his word, and he did. He might have come back from a match here and there once or twice, but nothing. Nothing, writing home about. Definitely no story.
No, it wasn't like a Mick Foley, Ric Flair situation to where that happened. Or you know what, even too, like, all right, and then you have to look on the bright side too of those like retirement matches. Look at Edge. No one knew it was his last match due to injury. Beats Del Rio, keeps the championship, retires a week later on Raw, and then everyone thinks he's done. And then, like, literally right before COVID hit, he came back at the Royal Rumble, and that was probably one of the best moments in recent memory to where everybody like remembers. Aside from the Hardys coming back, Edge coming back, that pop was crazy. And that's stuff you like to see though.
It's something in like Edge and Sean's first retirement. Those were real retirements. It's just that there's marvels in medicine that at the time they were done. They were told, hey, you're never going to do this again, just so you know. Yeah. And then over the course, like Sean's case specifically, over the course of the next like 5 years, they made advancements in medicine, and he was able to rehabilitate himself to the point where, he could still do this. That was actually a really quick turnaround, because he went out in 98?
98, yeah.
And he was back by 2003. And
he was done in 98, WrestleMania 14. He was off for a couple of months. Then he came back as the commissioner. And like, he didn't wrestle, but like he was giving out sweet chins. He was being the special ref. And then around, I want to say 2002, SummerSlam.
He came back and wrestled in jeans.
Yeah, wrestled in jeans in the 2002 SummerSlam.
he wasn't supposed to come back there, and he only came back for that one time. And then after that match, in his head, he was like, "Oh crap, it doesn't hurt anymore."
Yeah,
or it
I
doesn't
could do
hurt as much
this.
as it would, and I think I could do this, and he did.
Triple H, his boy, convinced him, and it's crazy because going back and watching the beginning of the Attitude Era, it's like a completely different character. Like it's a completely different person.
Yeah, well,
it's crazy to see it too. Seeing this Sean from 2002 on, and then going back in time and watching
96, 97, 98.
Yeah, it's like wow. Like you really you see them coming into their own, and it's pretty cool.
But yeah, the Hall of Fame definitely they it's obviously you can't put it on the WWE to recognize people before they die. It's your job not to die. It's not their job to make sure you don't die for it. What are they going to do?
Well, I think that's where, I mean, just like all Hall of Fames, minus this, there's no voting. It's pretty much Vince is like, all right, pal, you're going in. It's like there's no voting process on it. So it's whoever is in Vince's good graces that day who should go in, and you know what? Vader, you knew Vader was sick for a couple of years. If he deserves it now, he hasn't done anything obviously since he's passed. Why didn't he deserve it when he was alive?
So
that's what that's what the fans and myself don't understand, is that it's not like he passed while he was wrestling.
Right.
He's literally been retired for years. What changed that now is okay to put him in compared to when he was alive?
So that's a great question. And I think what it comes down to, and somebody said this, they have to put somebody into the Hall of Fame every year. And when you start running out of people to put in, now you start digging at the bottom of the barrel and you're trying to figure out, okay, Scotty too hottie and too cool, they're going in. And somebody made mention of that, hey, listen, like you don't have to put somebody into the Hall of Fame every year. Not every year has a worthy group. And maybe that's why we're seeing guys like Psycho Sid, who's potentially getting in this year, as well as Vader getting in, is because Vince didn't want to put them in before, but he's not going to just have no ceremony this year. So they're just like reaching for randos to put in because they don't have anybody left.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they did too much too soon for a lot of the earlier classes, like when they first started doing it, and
like 5, 6 people at a time.
Even I feel like limit it. Have the main attraction, have the mid card, have the tag team, have the woman, and then have the bullshit celebrity. There you go.
I don't go that far. You don't have to go that far because every year that you put somebody in, they have to. You have to come up with somebody the following year.
And you know what too?
There's only so many people that worked for the company.
That is true. Which is why I think Taker should have won. Listen, I'm happy Vader's getting in. I like the rumors of Sid. I like the rumors of the Steiner brothers going in. So, like, I'm okay. But I felt like Taker, being that he didn't get that send-off in front of fans, that he should have went in on his own. And then you can have Mick Foley, Triple H, like Shawn, Kane, have everyone tell stories. Vince does the induction. Everybody goes home. That's would have been cool.
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, it's for me. I just think that they're just trying too much to do this every single year, and it's diluting the classes. I'm not saying anybody like that we just mentioned doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm fairly confident that Scotty Too Hottie's in the Hall of Fame, and he does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's not in the Hall of Fame, but you know who's in the Hall of Fame twice? Your boy.
Sean? I know.
No, your boy.
Fucking X-Pac?
Yes. He's in twice. Listen, I like X-Pac.
He's a loser.
I don't think he should have been in with the NWO.
No, he was there for about a week, and then Bischoff fired him because he knew what Vince didn't. That he sucks as a fucking entertainer. So the Hall of Fame, honestly, the fact that there's no building is a shot for me. I mean, it's not a hall. Like the whole point of a Hall of Fame is there's supposed to be actual hallway of fame. And I know that Vince doesn't believe in it, but let's talk about that.
He doesn't. Vince,
he thinks it's a waste of money.
He thinks it's a waste of money. And to me, I think he's underestimating the diehard fan and how much they're willing to go see the same thing over and over again. And if you don't believe me,
Hall of Fame at least 5 times in my life.
But I feel like that if WWE did the Hall of Fame the right way, that it wouldn't be stale and it could be refreshed. I mean, look at how many people buy the same Jordans over and over and over again.
In different colors.
Just a different color. It's the same sneaker, just a different color.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all of them, but I'm pretty sure they have a warehouse filled with hidden treasures.
I love that show.
Dude, all you have to do is, because I went to Access, WWE Fan Access, before WrestleMania 35 a couple of years ago. And they had like a big ring in there that you get to go in the ring. They have like the Dusty statue. They have all these props. They have a ton of memorabilia that would just be cool as a fan to go see. And you could do it multiple times because they're consistently making moments and making memories. Like the broken ring that Brock Lesnar and the Big Show did. Throw that in a room, have people take pictures in it, lay down. I feel like there's so many things they could do, so much like memorabilia that they have that I think it'll be cool to go see. I'll go down to Florida.
So Triple H is actually collecting all these things, and they're in a warehouse in Stanford. I think that Triple H is just waiting for Vince to die so he can open actual Hall of Fame. Because why collect all that stuff? What's the point? By the way, that show, if you haven't seen it, is amazing. I love that show.
But I honestly think that they're missing the mark on a physical Hall of Fame. Because there's literally so much you could do.
I think it was Bruno Sammartino said that he didn't want to go into the Hall of Fame because they didn't have a hall.
I mean, he's not right. I mean, he's not wrong.
It's a joke. It's like it's not even a real building. What hall are we talking about? A website?
Yeah, it's not even a real Hall of Fame. It's just, I mean, look at the people that are missing. Demolition, one of the greatest tag teams of the 80s and 90s. They're not in because of that concussion lawsuit that they had against WWE.
Right.
Bam Bam Bigelow should be in it.
Absolutely.
Miss Elizabeth should be in it.
Because she died of drugs. They're not doing it.
And that's why Luger's not in it, because they were together and he's linked to that
guy on the sport. Yeah. How is Sable not in it?
She had sexual harassment lawsuits against.
Yeah, but that's over. She came back already. Her husband works for the company.
I know. Her husband's one of the main guys in the company.
Oh, my goodness. That's ridiculous.
And listen, I understand the Steiners not being in it. Scott Steiner has been anything but quiet about how he feels about Triple H and the company. But now that his nephew is going to be pushed to superstardom, I'm telling you right now, Braun Breaker, who is Rick Steiner's kid, is going to be a megastar in WWE.
Is he changing his name to Rex Steiner as he previously was known?
Well, Vince. Vince has to own everything, so give him a stupid name, and don't mention I don't actually say who he is.
His name is Bronson. His name is Bronson Rex Steiner.
Yeah, but I mean, Rex Steiner, which is what they were going to go with, I think is a lot better. Like, we're not stupid. We know who he is. Just
he looks like his father so much.
For real, listen, if you want to own something, give him a nickname. Own the nickname, but let him go by his real name because we know who he is.
Yeah, but he wouldn't go by his real name anyway.
Well, Rex. Let him go, Rex Steiner, but give him like the unstoppable Rex Steiner, like something stupid like that, where they got to give you a nickname.
But yeah, so I mean, Hall of Fame this year, I think is if it keeps going and it goes down that road that we're talking possibly Psycho Sid and the Steiners to add to Big Van Vader and The Undertaker.
Yes,
that's a great class, I think.
I think so.
I think it's a really great class.
They're gonna get they got to get a diva in there.
Yeah,
they're going to do it.
You get.
I think Victoria deserves it. I don't know.
Really?
You remember Victoria?
Yeah, I know.
Tara. She started off as one of the Godfather's hoes.
Hose, yeah. The one that started. She tried to unionize the hose.
That's good. But I would put Victoria in. That would be my. There's so many people, but I feel like you were saying, if there's no physical building, who cares?
And the sad part is that some wrestlers feel that way. When Bruno Sammartino comes out and says that, because let's be real, when did Bruno Sammartino not belong in the Hall of Fame?
Exactly.
But he wasn't inducted until within the last 10 years?
Because Triple H had to reach out, and it took Triple H a while. Triple H brought him back, brought Warrior back.
But again, that's because Captain Little Man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say, but that's because Bruno Sammartino was like, your Hall of Fame's a fucking joke. Why would I waste my time?
Yeah. He's not wrong.
I'm not going to go there for a cash grab.
Yeah,
I don't need
go there, speak to a bunch of stupid fans who are going to chant him in one more match when he's like 78 years old, to where they should be there with their peers, get a plaque, get a wing, put his wrestling boots there from when he did whatever. I'm looking at
some of the guys that are in, but Randy Orton's dad does not belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know who he was if Randy Orton wasn't a wrestler.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Hall of Fame, come on, man. I'm looking at it, and I know who Bruno Sammartino is.
Yeah.
Right? I know who Tito Santana is. I know who Andre the Giant is. I know who Greg Valentine is. Even though I don't like Greg Valentine, I know who he is,
Yeah.
I know a lot of the old guys, that started out wrestling, whatever it is. I did not know Cowboy Bob Orton was a human being until his son became the Legend Killer. There's a lot of good people in there too. There are some people that you may not know from wrestling, but they trained Hall of Fame wrestlers. Talking about guys like Killer Kowalski and Vern Gagne. They're in the Hall of Fame because they trained guys like Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Yeah. Shawn Michaels went from getting trained by Jose Lothario to going up north and doing more training with Vern Gagne. And Triple H also trained with Vern Gagne. But, there are some people like that. But, Tony Atlas shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
Coco Beware?
Yeah, definitely not. Mr. Fuji, why the fuck is he in the Hall of Fame?
He was a great manager.
I guess, but our manager's great.
I mean, Paul Heyman's going to go in. Bobby Heenan.
But Paul Heyman's not just a manager. And neither is Bobby Heenan.
Right, but they're more known. When they go in, it will be more known. They'll be more known for their managerial role.
I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is that as their Hall of Fame status isn't based on them being, they're only managers because they're great producers. So they get on airtime. They get on airtime because they're bookers, they're producers. They know what they're doing in the back, so they get to come out in front.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So they have that. But The Rock's grandfather doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame.
The High Chief?
Who the fuck is that?
Without the High Chief, there's no Rock.
So fucking what? By the way, I just want to point out, in not any way, shape, or form is The Rock related to the NOI family.
All Samoans are related.
Okay. Furthermore, I want to go out and say The Rock's mother is actually adopted by The Rock's grandfather. So they're not even blood related. I just saw your face fucking go drop. You were smiling. You were like, what?
I was like, it was like.
So not only is The Rock not related to the NOIs, he's not related to the Maivias.
Wow.
Because The Rock's mother, Peter Maivia is his mother's stepfather. I just messed up your whole life?
Yeah, I'm like questioning everything right now. He's still the great one. He's still the great one.
I feel like a lot of people got inducted because they were friends with somebody else.
Like X-Pac?
Like X-Pac.
It's a popularity contest. It's not like baseball where after 5 years of being retired, you're eligible for votes. Fucking, it's whatever. It's whoever they want.
Yeah. I agree. It is whoever they want. But at the same time, and like Bruno Sammartino said, it doesn't have credibility if you're going to put somebody like Bruno Sammartino next to Howard Finkel.
He said that?
No, he didn't use that in particular. But he actually did name names where he was just like, this motherfucker don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, you shouldn't be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
It's all a gimmick, which is why they don't have a physical building.
I just feel like, so what are some of the things they could do to improve the Hall of Fame? I think the first thing is build an actual building. I'd take Stanford and do it.
Honestly, I don't think they would probably put it in Orlando. They would put it in Florida.
Why?
They have their training facility out there. I feel like there's a lot more. I feel like Stanford's all corporate, and they want to keep like the corporate there. And then if you put the Hall of Fame in Florida, you have other reasons to go to the Hall of Fame. It's nice weather. There's beaches. There's Disney. There's other bullshit you can do.
To me, it sounds gimmicky to do that, and I'll tell you why. Where's the Baseball Hall of Fame?
I know this.
It's Cooperstown. New York.
It was literally on the tip of my tongue. You know what? I'm not giving baseball the acknowledgement yet. I'm still mad.
Where's the Football Hall of Fame? Canton, Ohio. Why? Because allegedly that's like the home of football. You know, the Hockey Hall of Fame is in the home of hockey, and the Basketball Hall of Fame is in Springfield, Massachusetts, where basketball was invented by Jim Naismith at a YMCA in Springfield, Massachusetts. WWE's home is in Stamford, Connecticut. For them not to put their Hall of Fame there is kind of weird because every other major sport puts it in a place that matters. Because if you put it in someplace like Orlando, it loses its credibility and now it becomes a gimmick. Like, I'll give you a good example. Orange County Choppers, they closed up their shop in Orange County and they moved to Florida.
I get what you're saying, how it should be in their home. I would say New York is their home.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say maybe even do it in Long Island or something like that because they've always referred to WWE/WWF as New York. So what else can we do? What else can we do to make the Hall of Fame a more legitimate experience?
Well, I think you hit, like what we were saying earlier, we hit the nail on the head. You need an actual physical hall to where you can be recognized and not on WWE.com. I want to go there. I want to see
where they delete Hogan every other year.
What'd you say?
Where they delete Hogan every other year.
Yeah, right. You know what? That's funny because I was going to say that, but I was like, you know what? I won't throw no shade. But like, that's the thing too. It's just like that. You're either in it or you're out of it. You can't do that if you have a physical building. You know, you should be remembered.
But I think we've rounded out the WWE Hall of Fame. It's upcoming during WrestleMania. WrestleMania is April. Help me out, Matt. What day is it?
April 2nd and 3rd. 2 nights. The most stupendous event that there is.
Wow. Stupendous.
Listen, that's not me. That's not me.
But look out for this and other little mini series that we're doing. You can catch Matt at the Squared Circle on Instagram and Twitter. And you can catch me with the Scoreboard Addicts podcast on Tuesdays and Saturdays on Tiki Live, on Friday and Saturday on Burns. And you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram from Matt and myself at In This Very Squared Circle. We thank you for spending this time with us.
Stay rock.